Welcome to Ibadan.
The coalition is not about wrestling power. The coalition is about rescuing Nigeria from collapse.
We want our democracy to remain.
To rescue this country,
And we cannot have a single political party in Nigeria.
Democracy cannot be sustainable if elections are not free, fair, and credible.
We all know that we have a problem.
this is the right time to come together because we are taking a long shot at the election that is just close.
Welcome to Ibadan, the political capital of the Southwest. Across Nigeria today, we're witnessing a level of political concentration that should concern all of us. A significant majority of state governments are aligned under one party. There are open efforts to consolidate legislative control of one party. At the same time, opposition parties are increasingly entangled in internal crises and legal battles that raise serious questions about their ability to function effectively. In many ways, the gathering we're having here today carries the same responsibility against one man. And it is not about individual ambition, President. It is about the collective ambition of the Nigerian people to have a democracy that is properly defined. This is a gathering about something more fundamental: the survival of a system that allows Nigeria to remain open, competitive, and accountable. No matter how strong any party becomes, no matter how popular any government may appear, the presence of credible opposition is not a threat to democracy. It is what sustains democracy. So this is not a moment for fragmentation. It is not a moment for illness. And it is certainly not a moment to disengage politically. It is a moment to think clearly, to speak honestly, and to act with a sense of responsibility that goes beyond party lines.
You must be afraid if you have Governor Makinde coming out to tell you point blank that you are on the wrong side of history. You must be afraid. You must be afraid if you have Peter Obi speaking about your government and its profligate attitude. You must be afraid. You must be afraid if you have Chief Rabu speaking about the way you mishandle government and governance. You must be afraid. You must be afraid. You must must be afraid if you are Professor Ibadan talking about the crooked ways in which you handle politics and policies of leadership. You must be afraid. You must be afraid if you are distinguished Senator David Mark, a former Senate President of the Federal Republic, telling you all your dubious ways on the issues of leadership and government. You must be afraid. And you must be afraid if you have Atiku Abubakar in the house.
A very important paper, although to be brief, but the issue is very, very important. In a democracy, the conduct of free, fair, and credible elections are very, very important. Democracy cannot be sustainable if elections are not free, fair, and credible. If elections are rigged, democracy will be ruined. If elections are manipulated, democracy will be diluted. Democracy is extremely dependent on the conduct of free, fair, and credible elections. And as you heard from our chairman, the chairman of ADC and PDP in their opening addresses, the current government is taking Nigeria in a very dangerous direction. And this is why we are delighted that you, very patriotic political leaders, have convened this summit. Kindly join me, put your hands together for this leader. Can I hear you? Put your hands together for them.
Nigerians have lost confidence in the electoral body called INEC. INEC is no longer an impartial umpire, and if nothing changes, Professor Ojo Amopitan is about to preside over the most distrusted election in the Nigerian history. The consequences are better left to imagination. Leaders of great parties, let it be said loud and clear that at a defining moment in our history, when Nigeria stood at the edge of uncertainty, we did not falter. We did not allow personal ambition to override the desire of Nigerians. We did not consider the temptation of petty partisanship, satisfying ambitions. Instead, we chose unity over division. We chose sacrifice over self, and we chose country above all. Let this summit go down in history as the moment when everything changed. Let this be the beginning of a decisive movement, a movement that will restore dignity of our democracy, secure the lives of our people, and rebuild the foundations of our nation. I am very confident that if we stand together with conviction, discipline, and sincerity, no force will be strong enough to stop the will of the Nigerian people.
Distinguished delegates, distinguished leaders, we are today at the cusp of history. The political stage is set. The dramatic personae are all ready, and time is passing and passing very, very quickly. But one thing is pending, which the world honestly awaits, and that is our action. That is our joint action. This is so important that even our inaction or refusal to act will be interpreted and recorded by us, by history, as an action. We are here today with personal evidence of onslaught. We are not speaking from hearsay, no guesswork, but from concrete life experience which we have gone through and which we are going through, and which unless decisive action is taken by us, we will still be going through. A situation where renegade party members have been stupendously empowered to create problems
within the rank and file of our parties, ultimately to use and to sue the party, leaving us very, very vulnerable. National institutions, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that are created as guardrails on the express lane of electoral democracy have all today either been captured or been seriously compromised.
In a democracy, no group of people are good enough to lead without the express view, support, and mandate of Nigerian people. This is what best expresses the idea of democracy. Free, fair, and credible election is what gives spice and piquancy to the game of democracy.
The only good thing about democracy, or one of the greatest things about democracy, is that it is a self-correcting mechanism that corrects itself every 4 years, or 5 years, or however long, and that the credibility of our democracy leans heavily on the credibility of our elections.
Desperate times demand decisive and collective action. We must be united in purpose, objective in our decision, and selfless in our approach. Personal ambitions must give way to national interest. The oppressed, the vulnerable, the struggling masses of Nigeria are looking up to us. They are counting on us to rise to lead and to deliver them from the hardship they face today. We must remain focused. We must speak with one voice. And above all, we must act with courage. I am confident that if we stay united and committed, we will succeed for the sake of our country.
I stand before you without fear of being contradicted to declare that this is the worst government in our entire history as a nation. Not be so. I can't hear you. Not be so.
We need to contain the violence. We must contain the violence. There are, at least to my knowledge, active groups that are in one way or the other challenging the supremacy of the use of force by the state. There is no state that can survive when you have non-state actors that are challenging the supremacy. So number one is to contain that violence. And I've provided recommendations on how to contain that violence. On the one hand, we need kinetic approaches. On the other hand, we need non-kinetic approaches. Unfortunately, the challenge is this. We mount these techniques. We mount kinetic and then we mount non-kinetic. My recommendation is let's move away from just mounting to actual implementation of these recommendations.
This issue of insecurity, in fact, is enough for Nigerians to come together to rescue their country, because we can't just afford to allow this country to go the way it is going. Because when you are talking about good governance, you are talking about peace and security. Good governance means peace and security. Do we have peace? Do we have security? No. And honestly, the women of Nigeria today, we are the gender that is most affected by the insecurity.
The cost of food is rising. And I look at this groaning, the pain in the land, which you can literally see as you walk on the streets of Nigeria. And I hear people say to me that we must hope. That if we give a little more time, hope will return. And I say this is a lie from the very depths of hell.
The youths of Nigeria are the most affected people of Nigeria's economy today. Currently in our country, we have 80 million Nigerian youths who are out of jobs. Not people who cannot work. People who have the ability to work but cannot find a job. 80 million Nigerian youths. In recent years, cherished in Nigeria than in any other country of the world. And we have also been ranked as the worst place to live in. And I'm very sure that if our economy was thriving, like they are making us to believe, we will not currently be the worst place to live in the world.
We've spoken about the collapsed economy and what can be done to revamp our economy. We've listened to experts who have spoken about the issues of insecurity in this country and how thousands of lives are being lost without any remedial steps being taken by government. We've also listened to ourselves when we spoke about issues bordering on hounding and pounding on opposition elements, issues relating to injustice, issues relating to unfairness, issues relating to inequity, issues relating to Muslim, an attempt to kill multi-party democracy in our country.
The coalition is not about wrestling power. No, it's wrong. The coalition is about rescuing Nigeria from collapsing, because the nation of Nigeria is declining every day through insecurity, hunger, suffering, and everything. And this coalition is strictly about turning things around, not just wrestle power for the sake of power. Otherwise, some of us won't be involved.
Oríṣiríṣi òṣèlú láti darapọ̀ láti lè fi ohùn ṣọ̀kan wípé kí ìjọba àwarawa ó má bàa parun. Èyí ló mú gbogbo oríṣiríṣi ẹgbẹ́ tẹ́ bá wo àyíká wa ẹ ó rí pé oríṣiríṣi ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú ní Nàìjíríà ló wà papọ̀ láti jẹ́ pé kóhùn wa kó jẹ́ ẹyọ kan fún ọdún 2027 kí a fi lè yan olórí gidi, olórí wa tí ó máa tukọ̀ ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà látọdún 2027.
Thank you. My name is Ladipo Johnson. I'm the National Publicity Secretary of the NNPP, the New Nigeria People's Party. Well, we all know that we have a problem, and that is sustaining the democracy that everyone worked so hard for in this country. In recent times, unfortunately, the feeling is that we're moving very quickly towards a one-party state. The feeling is that the space is contracting for the opposition and for dissenting voices. These dissenting voices, the dissenting voices guaranteed under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So it is now necessary, working towards 2027, for us to come together to draw the attention of Nigerians and the international community.
I'm Barrister Samuel Mene, the National Chairman of the Democratic Leadership Alliance, DLA. Absolutely, because you can see that there is quite a lot of things going on in this country. When you talk about governance, you talk about the issues of infiltration into political parties in Nigeria. We have witnessed the government of the day, a government led by the current APC administration, trying to infiltrate all opposition political parties. The gathering you see today is a gathering of opposition political parties trying to chart a way forward and how they can unite together and come under one umbrella, to rescue this country out of the quagmire we find ourselves today.
Olúṣẹ́gun Ọláṣùgbọ́n Akínpẹ̀lúmi lórúkọ mi láti Labour Party. Mo represent National Chairman Senator Nenadi Usman PhD. Àpéjọpọ̀ gbogbo parties ẹgbẹ́ oríṣiríṣi láti wá péjọ rò bí a ṣe máa continue láti máa jẹ́ kí ìtẹ̀síwájú bá democracy wà ní Nàìjíríà fún gbé àlàáfíà.
Lórúkọ tèmi ní Alhaji Nǹkan Ọlọ́nà, èmi alága African Democratic Congress lọ́yọ̀ State ADC. Ìdí fún àpéjọpọ̀ ìfẹnusọ̀kan ṣoṣo tí ó ń wáyé lẹ́nu láàrin gbogbo àwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú tó jẹ́ opposition ni pé ẹ rí i pé ìjọba Tinubu wọ́n ti ń yí òṣèlú nàìjíríà síbi èyí tó ti fẹ́ di òṣèlú ẹlẹ́gbẹ́ òṣèlú ẹyọ kan èyí tí àwọn àtàdéjọ opposition party àfẹ́ kó ṣẹlẹ̀ wọ́n ti tọwọ́ bọ ẹgbẹ́ káàkiri láti máa da gbogbo ẹ̀rú fún wa ìdí ẹ̀yìn tá a ṣe pera wa jọ papọ̀ láti sọ pé òkè ọ̀wọ́ lọ́nà àbáyọ láti jẹ́ pé ká fi lè gbé ètò òṣèlú wa ní nàìjíríà ká gbé kárí ibi tí ó nítumọ̀.
For the first time in the history of Nigeria, we are having a civilian tyranny, a civilian government that don't want another multi-party system to exist. And when people are pushed to the world, they will unite themselves together and want to fight back. You can see that is why what opposition leaders are doing across the country, to wanting to fight back, to wanting to push back, because we cannot have a one-party state in Nigeria. Nigeria is a multi-ethnic society, and we cannot have a single political party in Nigeria.
This is the right time to come together because we are taking a long shot at the election that is just close next door. And we have to do everything possible in terms of strategy, in terms of vision, and ensuring that at least we send APC packing for all the injuries they have inflicted on Nigeria, its economy and its people. And no time is more opposite than now for us to continue to think together.
I was the 2023 gubernatorial candidate under Labour in Lagos State. It is the right time because you've seen where the ruling party has done everything they can to break opposition and create a one-party state, or even I'll go as far as saying a one-man state. And it's of every importance now that the entire group of courageous Nigerians that can stand and face them comes together as one force, so that all our energy, all our insight, all our resources can be united to face the ruling party currently. So it's a very pragmatic decision. It's a decision that's also going to save Nigeria, because for a democracy to thrive, there must be opposition. And when a ruling party is trying to destroy opposition, it's never in the interest of the government, of the country.